Hi, I'm Sally from a podcast team at Microsoft. Today, I'm very delighted to be joined by two special guests from H&M to talk about how they've enabled citizen development across their organization. Welcome, Claes and Helena.
Thank you for having us. Very delighted to be here. We're gonna tell all of you about our journey, which we did within H&M in order to set the Power Platform Center for Enablement in show. So, Helena, over to you.
Right. So in January 2020, H&M had been using Microsoft 365 for about 5 years. We had 30,000 licensed users, which means that we have 30,000 potential citizen developers that had full access to Power Platform, and they had discovered their access and started building solutions. We did not, however, have any kind of governance or idea on how we wanted Power Platform to be used or how we could get value out of it. So we identified some challenges and risks that we were having. Like I said, there were already some legacy in place. I mean, we had 1,500 apps when we did an inventory. There was a risk that data could be exposed both externally outside of H&M, but also that people were building solutions in a manner without attention to security, which means that sensitive data could be exposed also internally to the wrong users. There was some use of a premium connectors, but we didn't have any oversights, which means that it could cause extensive licensing costs. And we also had the risk that an app could be built that could kind of evolve into being business critical, providing a lot of value to many users. And then when the owner left the company, there was left with no support and no maintenance, but still users that used the app. So our drives to kind of set this Center for Enablement up and running was that we wanted to increase the knowledge of the usage of the platform. We wanted to have security control, but equally important for us was that we wanted to improve our return on investment. We wanted to encourage our users to build solutions on Power Platform to get the value out of it. And we wanted to encourage them to build solutions in a sustainable manner. So we started off with the groundwork. We formed a team, which me and Claes are members of. We identified our audience. I mean, our primary audience is the citizen developers, but we also do have a dedicated team doing customized solutions on Microsoft 365. So we do have some IT pros and developers also building solutions. We agreed that for us, it's equally important with the governance and security as well as the creativity and to foster an environment where people want to use Power Platform. We ensured that our group had a mandate of the strategy, that we were allowed to take decisions of Power Platform. We did a lot of Googling and a lot of thinking, because we're not the first one to kind of set up this kind of governance organization. And of course, our Googling led us to a lot of Microsoft information. For example, the Center of Excellence Toolkit, which we installed. And then finally, we decided that we were going to call this our Power Platform Center for Enablement. So when the groundwork was done, we were kind of ready to start implementing actual security and governance. So what we did was we took this picture, which I think also is a Microsoft picture, where we kind of classify our apps and flows into different levels. So most of them will be on productivity level, a typical app that we use by me or a couple of my peers that provide some business value. But then if we have apps and solutions that are used by more people and higher business value, then we classify them as important. And then we need to kind of ensure that governance are in place, that they do have an owner, and so forth. We also designed an environment strategy based on this, and we quickly turned off the possibility for anyone to create an environment, because we want to be in control over the environments being created in our Power Platform environment. And we also identified what kind of productions apps do we have that doesn't have an owner, and they will probably need to take some actions on those apps. So our next step going forward, what we're currently working on, I would say we will probably dive into more, getting to know our platform even better. So this is a screenshot of one of my favorite tools from the Center of Excellence Toolkit. It's a Power BI report with basically all the knowledge that you could ever ask for. So here we can see that our trend in app creating is still going up, that people are using the platform, that we have 37 apps in production, which we probably need to have extra attention to. We can also do some analysis of the usage. If it may be low in certain countries or regions, and if it is, we should probably do targeted efforts of getting the usage up and telling them that Power Platform exists and that they can use it to get business value. Something else that's also in our pipeline is to implement some kind of archiving so that we can archive old unused apps and flows that haven't been used in, say, for a year, and then they're not needed anymore. So we kind of get a kind of clean environment. Right, now it's time for Nurture and Educate.
Yeah, thank you, Lena. So the Nurture and Educate was really something that was really high on our agenda and was really important for us to actually set the stage for. And moving into Nurture and Educate, the first thing we did was basically set up, and this is actually a feature from the Center of Excellence Starter Kit, where you receive this welcome email in which you can customize. So whenever a new maker enters the stage, basically, and do their first flow, do their first Power App, they receive this email, and we filled it with a lot of links to different communities, different external links to YouTube channels, places to go where you can find your content sources, basically, in order to getting started or getting to the next level, basically. And about communities, the communities for us was a very, very important part of the game, and still is, I would say. So for the community part, we used an already existing platform, and that is Jammer. I mean, Jammer is super great for foster or finding and inspire our makers, our citizen developers. We also use the Power Platform community to educate and inspire or sending out, posting news, basically, announcement of there's new features coming up to within the Power Platform, and how they possibly can get use of those new features and how they can use them in their solutions. Over to support and inspire, we are of course using our global help desk, where to kind of the place to go to as well. It's natural for users to call the global help desk or email that when they have problems. So basically, if it's incidents related, then of course the help desk should handle those questions. But as I think most of the companies have that kind of a problem, or the lack of knowledge within help desk, they cannot withhold that information about Power Platform tools. So we encourage them to actually transfer those users to, or redirect those users to, our Jammer community, the Power Platform community in Jammer. We also have on our Center for Enablement SharePoint page in a request form, in where users can request for example, premium license if they are in need of that. So if they are building a solution and need a premium license to either, I don't know, connect to an SQL database or something similar. We also educate and promote the makers or the citizen developers to visit the Microsoft community as well, in order to get a better reach of makers throughout the whole world. Also posting on ideas, on a Power Platform ideas, if there are functionality they are missing, of course. So we have several cases where users are using ideas. Last but not least, we are also hosting internal webinars. So both me and Helena and also another colleague, Mick, who is a Power BI expert, we are and that could be everything from building Power Apps, creating flows, and creating visual Power BI reports. And these are spread out the whole organization. Everyone have access to it and listening in and ask questions, etc. So now over to our success stories and storytelling. And this is something we are extremely proud of, because these solutions are built by our citizen developers mainly. And what we see here is basically just a collection of all the success stories that we have, but it really gives an idea on how it looks like. So we create these news posts and we share them to everyone to inspire people and to share what others have done within the H&M group. So people can actually take copy and paste or get inspired to create their own solution for a certain matter. One of these solutions is one that Marie Nordström actually came up with. So she saw a need for better streamline of a very long and inefficient process, basically. And it contained everything from sending Excels throughout the whole world, Excel copies, and then collect those using diagrams, taking snapshots into PowerPoint, etc., in order to set the business goals for production. The result of this was extremely successful in terms of saving time, which is a huge money saver, to be honest. And also the people that interacted and were using the app, they become happy because they were taken away from using the Excel and sending that Excel back and forth. And now over to another success story, and I think this is your absolute favorite.
It is my favorite.
Yes.
So the Flexi App started as an idea on a hackathon that we hosted. So Elsie and Sophia built a prototype of a Power App with a pretty simple idea. Use a Power App that provides you the option to everyday post your whereabouts. Are you working from the office today? Are you working from home? Do you have vacation? Then you also have the option to kind of inform your manager, add to Outlook calendar or whatever. You can see the whereabouts about your team or your favorite people to know where you should be or maybe where you shouldn't be. And they started small by releasing it to their own team. And then we did a success story about it, and word kind of got around, and more people and teams wanted to use it. And it's pretty scalable, so it's very easy to just add on more. So as of now, we have about 1,000 users in Sweden, Turkey, and we're also rolling out in the Asia region as we speak. So this also has been truly successful, and it's also very good looking since Sophia is a graphical designer. Right, now this is our last slide, and I would say it's the most important slide because these are our key learnings that you should take with you. So my first word of advice is do not wait, start today, because as soon as your users find Power Platform, they will start building solutions on top of Power Platform. And it's much easier to handle governance and such if there aren't already a lot of solutions in place. So the sooner the better. Make sure you establish a center of excellence team with the right competence. So set up a good mix of people. and make sure they have the correct mandate to kind of drive the work going forward. You also need a clear idea on what do we want with this? Why are we even setting up a Center of Excellence? Install the Center of Excellence starter kit. It's considered like a smorgasbord that could help you. You will probably won't need all of it, but there's a lot of good things that can inspire you and help you to kind of set up governance and nurture and everything, really. In many cases, the drive kind of to start the Center of Excellence come from the IT department, and they're concerned about security. But as I think we said earlier, it's super important to remember that the value is being created when you kind of empower your end users. So you will need a kind of a good balance between those. Learn from others, learn from us, for example, talk to Microsoft. There are a lot of best practices out there that you can find. And remember, this will never be finished. I mean, Microsoft 365 will continue to evolve, and so should your Center for Excellence. That's it from our side.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Claes and Helena, for sharing your story with us. As we close here, let's play a short video that summarizes all the elements of the CFE.